my church and I love, all my people and everybody. But I feel like maybe some of them expected it to be more, I hate to use the word, but can I say churchy? Um, and the reason I hate to, like, I'm not trying to paint a picture, but I'm just trying to say I don't want to be put in that box because I, I have a little ratchet in me, And everybody doesn't do the same thing. Like, you have to, like, if you want to be effective in ministry, you have to be able to meet people where they are. So if you is in somewhere, let's say like at a wedding or whatever, and you hear those words, cash money taking over for the 992, and you want to get up a little, shake a little something. Some people might look at you differently because you in the church. And if I have, God forbid, you got a title, minister or pastor, like, you can't be dancing. But what I'm saying, like, why come I can't? So you got to be able to meet people where they are. And if you have this holier than thou attitude, you're going to miss out on some of the greatest opportunities to connect with some of the most beautiful souls. And then, like you said, you'll be instrumental, unfortunately, in causing those people to fall to the wayside because they think that they have to be so perfect when the fact of the matter is that we are all flawed.
Right. We are all flawed. I don't care how many Sundays you spend in church. I don't care how much you put in the offering plate. I don't care how many times you spoke in tongues. We are all flawed.
We all flawed. And I'm still going to get up and dance every time I hear Juvie come on. I don't care what nobody say. I could be 50 years old. I'm here. That song. Do. Like, hey. Okay, stop. Focus, Andrea. Okay. So, one of the next ones on your list was battles with depression and suicide attempts. Now, I can't help but notice that you use the word attempts as in plural, as in there were more than one occasion where you actually attempted suicide. So I have like this onslaught of questions, and you can take them, and digest them. So I'm like, what brought you to this place? What brought you out of it? Like, how did you actively refrain from returning to such depths? Like, you're a believer. You said that you've been in Christ since 10, and I'm fully convinced that you're saved. However, what do you have to say to those who don't believe and are dealing with depression and suicide? Like, there are two sides to this thing.
Well, I've never been an unbeliever, so my advice for them that don't believe is always the therapy. But I'm gonna talk about I'll mention two of the occurrences that happened and how I got to that place. During my teenage years, junior high, I was very awkward. I was like a nerd. I didn't do the latest trends. I didn't really care about the latest trends. And my mom didn't teach me to do my hair and makeup, so I did it the best I could, which it was awful. And sometimes she'd pay to get my hair done, but because, like, I didn't have confidence, I thought I was ugly. If somebody told me my hair was ugly, I would just go home and take it down. But we used to say when I was kids, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me. That's a lie.
Right.
Because words would tear me up. One of the things that I would do when I was a teenager, and I tried it multiple times, but I didn't succeed. I would sit in my bedroom closet and I would take a bandana and tie it tightly around my neck until my lips turned blue. And I got so dizzy to the point I was about almost passed out. But going to the church, and when I mentioned attending church, I was going to church by myself. It wasn't my parents taking me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. There was no family attending church with me. So I knew about heaven and hell. And I kind of felt like I was already living in hell. So I would be like, I don't want to end up in an eternity in hell. And that would stop me. And I thank God for watching over me, because so many people think that it was about attention and didn't understand that I was really hurting.
Right.
And then as an adult, before me and my former husband got married, it was during the Christmas holidays, and he had left once again. Our relationship was a merry-go-round. And so I sent a group text to his family that I was going to end my life. I had Clorox and ammonia, which, just cleaning with the combination is toxic. And I was going to drink them both. And I managed to drink the Clorox, and my father came knocking on the door. But it was really my mom that I wanted there. And so I climbed out the window, and I fled on foot that night. People don't understand just how real depression is. And sometimes they think people are just having a pity moment and they'll just get over it, and that their feelings aren't valid when they really are. I plead with people that are listening, if you know anybody in that situation, take them seriously. But ultimately what brought me out was acknowledging that something was broken within me. And that was in 2016 when I realized something is really broken within me. And I went against what our culture believes about going to therapy.
Girl, why? Why are we like this?
No. I went to therapy.
Yes.
They say black folks don't go to therapy. I went to therapy.
I know that's right. We don't, though. It vexes me. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
And therapy helped me tear up that old cracked foundation and learn more about myself and why I hurt so much and why I wanted so badly for other people to tell me that they needed me to live, that they wanted me to fight to live. I had to learn to love me and fight for my very own life. Because when you live for somebody else and then that person disappoints you, as people will do, then you're right back where you started or worse.
Wow. So you said...
it took me a process. It took me 30-something years to really get to a point where I love myself, and every morning I look in the mirror and I smile at me, and I'm happy to see me, and I'm happy to see the life in me.
I love that. Yes, look in the mirror, boo. Smile. I'm living my best. Let me stop. So, 2016, though, that's like recent. So,
right.
In the past few years is when you were able to, work through things enough to be like, okay, this is who I am and I'm loving me.
Well, see, my husband left in 2016, and that was the final straw.
Okay.
We separated in 2016, and I told God, this is the final straw. I have got to get this toxic cycle out of my life. I'm not going backwards. And I went through a lot of things financially because I had never lived on my own as an adult. And it was hard emotionally because of stuff. Well, we were separated for 2 years before we actually divorced. And the beginning of 2017, God sent an angel in my therapist.
Yeah.
And January 2017, I started counseling, and that is, how I got to know myself and build myself up emotionally and learn that just how broken I was, that I wasn't. If I'd have known what I knew about me, I never would have gotten married because we did so much damage to each other. I did so much damage to him because I was so jacked up.
I love that you're healed enough to say that, though, to honestly be like, okay, this was my part that I played in the demise of my marriage.
Right.
Because we all play a part, and if you say you don't, you're lying, and you need to get some therapy.
we love to bash the man, but no, right. I can't do that.
Right.
I can't do that.
Oh my gosh, I was just praying recently because I just feel like, man, marriages are under attack. Like there's an onslaught against marriages. I have so many friends and associates that I know that are going through. And here I am telling my business again, y'all. But I was like, well, Lord, why am I keep coming across these people that's going through the same? My marriage, it need help too. But I was praying because I was like, I need to be able to look at people through the eyes of compassion. Like, I need to be able to look at the husband and wife. Like, okay, the wife has told me this is what happened with the husband, so now I'm automatically mad at the husband. And he was like, nah, that's not how it goes. Like, it's 2 or 3 stories to each and every side. So we have to be able to look at both sides being, responsible for the current state of things in any marriage. So I just thought that was not coincidental that you said that, but yes. So there was another one, and I think not to categorize these in any level of importance, but this one is pretty major. Trusting the process of grief. Most people don't see grief as a process. We want that microwave experience. You know, as Americans, we want it now.
Right.
America. So they want it to be quick and done. But that's just not, it doesn't work that way. There was one episode in particular, you guys. Okay. The absence of her. I'm going to let y'all know where to find her in just a little bit. But there was this one episode in particular. It was called Holiday Hurt. I went back and I listened it, and I loved it. Like, you put into words what I believe countless people experience on different holidays. Like, different holidays mean different things to different people, and they trigger so much. So, I'd like for you to touch on your process. Like, what did you learn about actually grief being a process? And then how did you get to the point where you're okay with, like, trusting that process?
Well, you're absolutely right that we live during a time when we want to be instantly gratified. So when it comes to telling a person to be patient or trust the process, of course that's the last thing somebody wants to hear.
Mm-hmm.
I shared in Holiday Hurt about my visit to the neurologist and how I was absolutely sure something had to be medically wrong because of the forgetfulness and exhaustion I was experiencing. And it was denial. And what I love about God, because you just mentioned this about Him putting people in your path that have gone through the exact same experiences. He sent two people in my path, one at work and one right there in the office when I was getting the EEG done. So that I didn't feel ashamed or crazy in my head where He's saying, you got to let your brain rest. You got to allow yourself to process this grief because it's going to break your body down if you don't.
Oh.
Death can be very traumatic. But I did not feel like I was sad because I wasn't crying every day. Mm-hmm. But also I wasn't allowing myself to feel the loss of my mother. And here's the thing. If we have a car accident, there's trauma to the body. Right. So even if we ain't got a broken bone or a scar, we still got to go get checked out by a doctor. Mm. So why don't we do that for our mental health when it's trauma?
Listen, please, a round of applause. Like, y'all, goodness, please. I'm sorry, carry on.
So my process, it consists of prayer, consistent therapy sessions, and I've reached a point in my grief that if I feel sad and miss her, and that is just recently, I cry. Like I had somebody kill my dog, stole my wallet cry a couple months ago for Mother's Day. And then I got up. I don't allow myself to remain in bed because, you know, that's when depression hit me. You sit around, flunking around, eating up stuff, whatever. I do a little exercise. I watch something funny, or I'll visit a friend, and have a good support system.
Yeah.
Have friends so good that you can tell them, hey, today not a good day. Or tomorrow is the anniversary of her death, so that they'll text you and say, hey, friend, how you doing? You want to go hang out or whatever? You got to be honest about your feelings. And don't be all offended if somebody don't remember the anniversary of so-and-so's death, you know? Because everybody has things going on, but that's just part of my process, being honest about my feelings, because I wasn't always honest about my feelings. Allowing myself to cry, because if you hold that stuff in, it'll break you down. If you try to rush it too much, it'll overwhelm you. And so you gotta take the baby steps with it. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't let anybody tell you, oh, you still grieving that person 2 years later. Now you don't have to mourn them forever and be around, you know, oh, I can't live without them. Because sometimes I think we do that because it makes us feel like it's not okay. If we love them, it's not okay for us to let them go. And it's okay. It's okay.
It's okay. It is. Wow.
But yeah, that's just